All right, we're live. As you can see over here, we are surrounded by riot police. On the other side, there is the protesters.
Yeah, so we basically this morning, the riot police are trying to clear the protesters out of the protest area. The protesters were going to try to get to a flag raising ceremony.
It's to commemorate the anniversary of the handover of Hong Kong to China.
It's about 5 in the morning here right now, and as we were coming out of the hotel, behind you there are more police vans, Matt. As we were coming out of the hotel, what happened was we bumped into some riot police kind of marching on their way to where the protesters have been spending overnight outside the Legislative Council building. So
as you can see, they have their flags for when they raise warnings about firing tear smoke. A bunch of guys have rifles for rubber bullets. I'll kind of follow
some
that.
kind of like tear smoke canister guns. I've seen some of them carrying. So
lots of heavy duty shields. So they're ready for action. And the funny thing about this is, and there's one of the white guys who's, I think Zulu Charger was his name.
Oh, no, his name is actually David Jordan.
David Jordan.
Yeah.
So they're ready for action. There's protesters over there. Maybe we can get out in front, or Shelley was saying we should probably put on some safety gear.
Chris can talk, Shelley, while you grab the safety gear out of the backpack. Just pull the string.
So we don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure everything's going to be okay for your gang of intrepid explorers. This is for a flag raising ceremony. This shows just how kind of pathetic everything has become here in Hong Kong. Oh, well, I don't know if we'll need these just yet, but the nice thing was that the Hong Kong Press Association provided helmets and safety gear and vests for everyone. So far, nothing. Everything seems under control. It's just actually one of the police officers is telling Shelley to be safe. So I hope that's what everyone does today. Stay safe. But no word yet on whether Carrie Lam will actually. Yeah, want to say something? Okay. No word on whether Carrie Lam's basically been in hiding. That's Hong Kong's chief executive.
She's got to come out today for the flag raising ceremony, basically. So, okay, Matt's giving me this. That is too large for me.
Yeah. Shelley, you know where it's fun to stay at?
The what?
YMCA.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. I'm going to put on my helmet.
Okay, so Shelley's going to put on some helmets. I guess, let's see. Here, hold this.
Okay, so you're seeing some of the riot police move up and around that road. They're trying. Basically, the protesters we're kind of like 1 block away from the main body of protesters. Matt, I don't know if you can see over on the other side of the police line, there's a row of protesters with umbrellas up for shelter and defense against any possible tear smoke.
It's more effective against the pepper spray. They have this new kind of hose stuff. It's just they hose pepper spray at people.
Yeah, that seems fun. I hope we don't experience that. But also, I'm seeing more press come up behind us too to try to get a good idea of what's going on here. Yeah, it seemed like they were trying to kind of sneak around the side, basically, because this is not the main road. This is like a block and a half away from where the protesters mainly are. So
Matt's having some gimbal problems, but I think we're back on. Again, this is for a flag raising ceremony.
Or this is to prevent the protesters from getting to a flag raising ceremony.
Yeah, because there needs to be that shot of showing how Matt wants us to come back. Show how much the Hong Kong people love the mother.
I think we probably don't want to get too much further.
Yeah, I think we don't want to get any closer than this.
Okay. So it seems like we are going to be on this side of the police, which is a rather unique point of view. I have a feeling most of the other press ended up on that side.
I've seen some people come up behind us, actually, so there are people kind of up on the overpass, too.
I don't know what this means, Matt. Closer together.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a lot is happening right now. Just for some background, what's happened is that a few days ago, protesters announced that they were going to try to basically stage a sit-in and disrupt the...
Protesters were calling it a rehearsal for the flag-raising ceremony.
Yeah, national anthem singing rehearsal.
Yeah.
And then the police, what happened was, then they basically barricaded the area around the square where the flag raising was supposed to happen, which is not here. It's actually maybe like a 15-minute walk away. but they completely barricaded with these like huge water barriers that are taller than a person.
Yeah, Shelley has some photos of that. Remember, you can see photos like that and any video we're taking on Shelley's Instagram, which is...
Or Twitter, which is at
Twitter.
SHELZHANG.
And then also follow China Uncensored on Facebook and Instagram. And Twitter as well.
This seems to be the weirdest time to say something like that, but
Well, no, it's where people can see what we're doing.
yeah, no, it's just funny.
Shamelessly self-promote, Shelley.
But anyway, so a few days ago, they announced they were going to do that. Police responded by building up barriers, and last night the protesters had a memorial service for some of the protesters who have died recently, and now
committed suicide.
Yeah, so this is where we are this morning. Some of them stayed overnight in this area. This is the traditional protest area in front of the Legislative Council.
Yeah, pro tip, if you are going off of 4 hours of sleep and don't have access to coffee, get behind a bunch of riot police, and that really gets the blood pumping.
I mean, right now we're looking at some...
Oh, and as you can also see up there on the freeway overpass, you can see like sort of the people with the police in charge of like taking photos of protesters' faces, and you can sometimes see that protesters are shining like this green kind of laser light at them. Oh, one guy just took a picture of me. That's cute. I hope I look nice. It's early.
I hope it means we can get back in. Looking over at the protesters, they all have umbrellas up, partly not just in case of tear smoke, but also because then they can't take photos of their faces if all they can see are umbrellas.
So we're just going to be kind of going live here for the foreseeable future, because this is the best way for us to actually kind of get some of this stuff out. Though, technical question, Matt, should I take the gimbal and you take the camera? Because we'll need some of this footage for an episode.
Well, let's keep going for now.
Oh, okay.
So, just heard from another journalist that protesters are still going to be trying to go to the convention center on the other side. So this might not be the only place where there's action this morning.
Okay, and the convention center is, well, normally not far from here, but with all of the police and barricades, it's going to be difficult to get there.
If you want to, Chris, give me the camera that's in here. No, just...
Okay. Pardon me, we're doing some technical things. All right. It might be a bit difficult for us to take any questions right now just because of, well, obviously. But yeah, just stick with us. We're bringing this to you live. Oh, like you can see there, they're like flashing like a strobe light, trying to mess with police cameras, which unfortunately is also messing with our camera, I'm sure. So, well, so the joke about July 1st is sort of like it's Hong Kong's equivalent of Unindependence Day. Since this is when they got handed to mainland China.
I'm seeing there's from Twitter. I'm seeing that like there's another path around the side where we're kind of next to this garden that's next to the police station. So they're actually like there were some police like coming around that side too, and protesters have built another wall of umbrellas over there. Mm-hmm. I get the feeling that the police were trying to get around and come up on the protesters from like the side, basically. Mm-hmm. And then I was tweeting that we had like seen these police coming down the street, and then one of the protesters saw it and showed it to the protesters on the scene.
Oh, nice.
So they were ready for them. So
Roman centurion tactics. And probably difficult to see, but protesters have managed to erect their own kind of barricade. It's much less sophisticated than some of the things the police have been setting up over the past couple of days by the convention center, which is where the flag raising ceremony is.
I'm pretty sure I'm hearing somebody play the Star Wars music in the background for a minute.
Star Wars music?
For a minute. Or, yeah, for a second.
Uh-oh. Lucas is going to sue us. No, he's not in charge. Disney's going to sue us. That's much worse. I mean, I don't mind getting in between protesters and Hong Kong police, but I don't want to get on the bad side of Disney.
I did not imagine that we'd be on this side of the protesters versus police thing, to be honest.
Yeah, this is kind of a surprise to me, too. It still seems like more or less we are the only press on this side of the police.
Maybe that says something. Maybe we're being really stupid right now.
I wonder, do you think we're being stupid? Let us know in the comments below.
That we're not reading right now. Sorry.
We'll read it, hopefully, someday.
Yeah, well, now it seems like we're kind of in a standoff. I see some reporters. How big would you say that no man's land is between the police and the protesters right now? I see some reporters hanging out there.
Well, you know, if President Trump and Kim Jong-un can meet in the no man's land of the North and South Korean border, it gives me hope that even today, maybe protesters and police can come to an agreement. Wouldn't you say, Shelley?
They can probably come together. I'm not sure it's going to be in an agreement.
Hopefully in not a tear gas kind of way. Let's see. I had something I was going to say.
Some yelling going on on the protest side. Can't really hear it, and even if we could, we can't speak Cantonese.
So this is sort of how these things kind of go. It's like there's all like moments of like intensity, and then it's like everyone just kind of holds position for a time. Let's see. I mean, all in all, considering that on June 12th, there were riot police actually targeting journalists, right now I feel pretty safe. Never mind. Get me out of here.
I see another meeting on the other side of the street, so we're not alone.
Okay.
It's interesting that they have these police behind the front lines who have basically these camcorders and monopods, and their job is to document what happens. I think partly so they can also use it to prove their side of things, you know, in both the PR war and in case it goes to court.
Yeah, and that's actually the interesting thing about the media being here, too, is that in a way it does protect both sides. You know, Matt and I, in 2014 for the Umbrella Movement, we were there in a place called Mongkok where things got kind of violent. Not too violent, but at one point, like, Matt and I were in between, like, a similar situation, but where there's, like, protesters 2 feet away, line of police. And, you know, Matt and I got in between that, and we actually felt that press presence kind of de-escalated the situation because both sides knew they were being watched and nothing really could get too out of hand. I also want to mention, Shelley mentioned the idea that maybe we won't ever be allowed to come back to Hong Kong. We did hear that a friend of ours, a Tiananmen Square massacre survivor, Zhou Feng Suo, who we've had on the show recently for the 30th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre, was stopped at the airport. They wouldn't let him in. So, you know, this is definitely a sign that the freedoms of Hong Kong are a little less free. So, yeah, we've definitely had conversations about, like, oh, are we ever going to be able to come back to Hong Kong after this?
Yeah, what's interesting is that, you know, this is kind of like when you say, oh, one country, two systems, but more and more people who are critical of the CCP are not being allowed into Hong Kong. That's not a great sign.
Yeah.
And actually, I was speaking with Zhou Fengsuo like last week, and he was saying that like he was really, because we had met him for the first time in Hong Kong 5 years ago during the umbrella protest, and he was saying how, you know, he really wanted to be here. Like he saw that we got here pretty quickly after the protest started this time, and he's like, I really wish I could be there with you guys. And then when he tried to come for today, the July 1st protest, they stopped him at the airport.
But I don't know, Shelley. Do you think police know who we are?
Oh, no. I don't think so.
We are like Darkwing Duck. We hide in the shadows. Nobody knows who we are. That was an old reference.
I'm hearing shouting in the distance from the protester side.
Yeah.
All right, so the video's down for some reason, even though it's not down on my end.
Oh, okay.
So, but they're hearing you. So
Okay.
Keep talking.
Apparently, video has gone down a little bit. Internet might be getting spotty. Man, I wish we spoke Cantonese.
A protester in a cape standing up and waving an umbrella in the background towards they seem to be directing the other protesters some way. This was not supposed to be where this confrontation happened, by the way.
Yeah.
So the protesters were trying to get to the other side of the convention center, and I don't know if there is anybody on that side, because basically what's happened now is the police have effectively blocked any protesters who are kind of sitting overnight in front of the government buildings on this side.
Will you hold this for a second? I want to ask one of the people if they can translate what the police guy said.
Sure.
See how it goes.
So now Chris is attempting to get translation services from the police. So he's trying to get. So he's trying to see what they're saying through the loudspeaker. Let's see if he was successful. Chris.
Apparently, the guy in the loudspeaker is saying, according to these guys, we will not answer any questions. We will not answer any questions.
To the protesters?
We're having some issues with the video.
That was a joke. I think that's just what those guys were saying. They wouldn't tell me what the guy in the loudspeaker was saying. And I'm like, maybe it's like some safety thing that we should know, so we're safe. We will not answer any questions. So, yeah, there we go.
I think obviously they're expecting some kind of trouble here, otherwise they would not have sent this many police. And also behind Matt, you can see like the David Jordan, who's one of the two white. He was
let's swing around so Matt can try and get that shot.
For that,
Matt trying.
So we are now facing the side where the convention center is.
The magic of the iPhone, you can just flip the.
So we're now facing the convention center. So that area behind us is where the protesters are trying to go, and I don't know if you can see.
Okay. Okay. So here we go.
So behind us, there's like kind of the guys in charge for the police, and so they are this is the convention center, and then you can see more police vans kind of driving up in the distance. Wow, we got light really quickly. That kind of building back there with the funny roof is the convention center, and kind of beyond that is the Golden Bohemia Square, which is where they're supposed to be having the flag raising right now.
Also, fun note, apparently a storm is coming in today.
It's raining on us right now.
Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, I don't. If they were hoping to stop the flag or disrupt the flag raising ceremony, I don't know if there's anybody over on that side.
Yeah, well, do we know when the flag raising ceremony is supposed to begin?
I'm not exactly sure, but the protesters were supposed to be over there around 6:30 in the morning.
Okay. So I'm sure what's going to happen is there will be like some nice PR shots of Carrie Lam raising the People's Republic of China flag, maybe the Hong Kong flag. While meanwhile, if you were to just zoom out a little bit, you would see barricade,
Yeah.
riot police, protesters.
Yesterday, some Hong Kong media had reported that there would be like more than 5,000 riot police on call today.
We're having an issue where a lot of people are saying that the video is blacked out.
Okay, can they still hear us?
They can hear you.
Okay. Well,
but I don't know how to reset the video. I've never had this issue before.
weird.
Okay. So internet might be spotty. We have had past experience where when sort of a lot of people are gathering, the internet kind of goes out. So bear with us that we don't have any video right now. Matt's trying to fix that. We're a little leery of like signing off and restarting it, because if we do that, we might not get back on.
And we might also just lose this video. I don't know, unless Matt can stop it.
I think we have to restart.
Okay.
It's absolutely not working.
Okay, well...
All right, so we're going to restart this video. Don't worry, we're fine. Hopefully nothing will kill us in the moments that the video is off.
No, nothing's going to kill us.
We're going to restart.
Bye. See you soon.